Arguments. And you're being videotaped, you should.
Okay, with the recent banning of smoking to minors in New Jersey, cigarettes, and you can't distribute alcohol to minors, this is just saying this is one step further, selling violent video games to minors. If you could do it with cigarettes and alcohol, you can do it with video games.
Alright, so your first point is if you're banning other items to minors.
If you're regulating control of the minors, this is no different because it's still like affecting them equally.
Okay.
And it's shown to have harmful effects on behavior.
Yes, and it's protecting them.
No, you're just writing down arguments, man. Alright. Alright, your next point.
Violent video games make up 8% of the industry, where only 20% is sports and other video games, 2% education. The banning of it will make the industries promote more educational and non-violent video games.
Okay.
We brought up the point that what's the necessity of having violent video games
in our society.
When we don't want to have a violent society, we're projecting violence onto our society by producing these violent video games and then, mass advertising them to the youth of America. If you don't want a violent youth, then don't push on violence to them through video games.
Alright, you guys got that down? Alright, you're teaching down now.
Children play 8 hours of video games each week, and the violent video games, it leads to aggressive behavior and an aggressive mindset for the children. They don't focus on the positives, they focus on negatives, violence using their fists instead of their words.
Okay.
Because unlike a movie, you're not just sitting and watching it, you're actually participating in the violence by playing the video game. So you're more or less getting into that mindset than just being shown a violent act as you would in the movie.
And the final point, that there are popular games that are not violent for Madden, Guitar Hero, and Rock Band, which allow kids to interact with each other and play a video game without killing and using violent acts.
Good. Stop right there. You guys get ready to write down. Who's going to speak for you? Michael is now going to present the B side. So A side, take down the B side.
We're presenting B side first.
You're presenting your compelling arguments to B side.
Okay, well, the first major argument that we have is that, in a sense, the restriction of video games and adding a criminal punishment for them being sold to minors is, in effect, restriction on freedom of speech. Any of you guys want to do that?
Alright, that's point one. Say it again.
Same thing.
What did he say? Mike, repeat your first point again.
Okay, that having the criminal punishment on distributing video games to minors is, in effect, a restriction on the freedom of speech, which is one of the core amendments.
Alright, so he's arguing the unconstitutionality of it. The freedom of expression issue, you can't stop that. Alright, next point, who's going to be?
Also, it's a parental responsibility issue. All the scientific evidence pointed toward video games having negative effects on society is shaky at best. Meanwhile, if you take something like cigarettes, alcohol, other stuff that's illegal, crack and everything, it's obvious that stuff is harmful. Teenagers die of alcohol poisoning every day. But there's really no way to say, this kid died of Halo 3 abuse. That's not how it works. Parents have the right to raise their kids however they want. And there really is no way to show that video games are harmful.
Okay, next point. Andrew?
Another thing is that on every box, on every video game box, there is a warning label stating what content is in the video game and what is the advisable age range for each game. And like Dan said, it is at the parent's discretion whether or not to buy these games, and it's not like it's the government's responsibility.
Okay, so that's your third point. How many of you guys gave what? 4 points or 5 points? Give me one more point, guys.
It essentially all falls into the parent's responsibility.
Yeah.
That's where it's all rooted.
And also something Mike said, in a capitalistic society, 80% of the industry would not be violent, is not violent, because, the corporate mass is wanting to force violence upon the public. The public is forcing violence upon itself. It wants that violence. and it would not be getting that violence if that wasn't what it wanted.
All right, so
Because
I'm hoping
it's the
can I
basic
just encapsulate that, so that basically that last point is, it's,
The reason the violent video games exist and are going into the American society is because
We want it.
the American
So
consumer.
we're not debating. So need for violence is through the video game.
satisfying a consumer need.
Satisfy the consumer's desire to
I
buy.
think that's what I got at.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
stop.
kind of the idea.
Hi.